My main topic is, does pedal prices matter? Does the price of the pedal really matter?
Well,
So,
yeah, when I'm paying for it.
obviously it matters when you pay for it. But for the sound and the experience you get from playing it, because it seems like there's kind of a tiered system of pedals. There's the really cheap pedals like the Behringer pedals. There's kind of the middle of the road, kind of, I guess, Moor's in lower tier too. And then middle of the road, some of the Boss stuff kind of falls in there, right? $100, $150, MXR and all that type of stuff. And then there's a top tier, maybe not even top tier. There's a beginning level boutique pedals. They're in $250, $300 range, $200 range, and then super high, like crazy, Vimorian pedals and those Chase Bliss pedals with the sliders and CXMs
Right.
and all that stuff that's $800 plus.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at pedals, why is it that prices matter or that prices don't matter to you?
So this is just how my brain works, and maybe it's because I've been burned by like some cheaper pedals, but I think of $50 and below is like a novelty, but realistically, you're not going to use it. It sounds terrible, but
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah, I
Like
know.
anything below $50, like it's a plastic housing, right?
Yep.
A plastic switch, so you know it's not going to last over the years. Like, and it's just a novelty sound, and you're like, this is fun to plug in and play with once, but I'm not going to use it. I'd say right when you get to the like ODR Mini, that's about as cheap as you go for something that I feel like you could use.
Was it like 70 or $80?
Yeah, you can find them used for like around 60, I think.
Okay.
So like right around there, that's the entry point of, oh, I can use this. Like I feel like for me personally, something that's gonna last and you don't have to worry about it every time you step on it. And then there's all the working man pedals. To me, it's like $60 to 140, 150.
Yeah.
That's the working man's pedal range. That's my range.
Right.
That's what I use. Because if it goes down, you can buy another one. Doesn't totally break the bank, but it's something you can be proud of.
I think if we took an assessment of your board, I think you're underestimating some of your pedal costs.
No, I am for sure. But that's what I want to think.
Yeah.
That's what I want to think my pedal range is. And then you go 150 to like 300, and that to me is like, that's the top range for me personally. 150 to 300 a pedal. And you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of money for a pedal. It is, but I only have 8 or 9 pedals on my board. Like I don't have like a whole main station of 20 pedals. Like that being said, I do hold on to a lot of pedals. Like if I buy one, I usually hold on to it, and it takes a lot for me to sell it. So, and then I've never even ventured out in like after $500. Like people pay these King of Tone prices $800 for a pedal.
Yeah.
When you can just wait. I mean, I know it's not fun waiting, but I'd rather wait and pay $250, maybe $300 for a pedal than $800 because I want it now.
Yeah, some of that, it comes down to not the pedal price, and that's just like the scarcity of pedals. It's like a Klon or anything, right?
That's true.
So there's not a lot of them out there. So the market dictates, what the pedal price is. I think it's interesting. I like your concept of like where your pedals start become being useful, and like that $80 range, somewhere like $70, $80, they can actually start being used regularly on your board. I do think there's a lot of fun to be had at those cheap pedals too, though. I do think some of those Behringer pedals, some of those really cheap Moore pedals and stuff like that. What are those Tone City pedals that Anderton sells?
Right.
I'm not saying they're complete junk and they're going to fail on you. I don't think they're necessarily going to. Would I trust them on my main board all the time? No, I wouldn't.
The
personally.
Tone City, they got the metal switch though. That's really what I'm looking for. Is there a metal switch? Is it a metal housing?
Yeah.
Like, if you step on it and it's plastic.
Maybe Tone City is the exception. Moore is that way though.
I'll be honest, I've never played a Moore pedal.
Yeah, I've seen them. I have never played them. But I do think there's something cool about cheap pedals. Even like older cheap pedals, they were kind of like vibey.
Yeah.
Like they're not necessarily reliable, nothing like that, but you can find a vibe out of those
Right.
that's just awesome.
Well, JHS did that whole Behringer Fuzz type thing.
Yeah, they done that, and even like the old Nobles pedals that everybody loves now, the ODR and stuff. Well, those housings sucked. That's why XTS is out there modding them, not modding the pedals, but they're putting them and recasing them.
Rehousing.
Thank you,
Yeah.
not recasing. Rehousing those pedals. That's why a bunch of the TS10s get rehoused.
Right.
You know, those pedals sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the
bones of 'em.
the bones of them and the shell of them sucked. The inside sounded amazing.
Right.
And I think there's pedals out there that are inexpensive that can, do the same type of thing now. Those Behringer pedals are really cool.
Right.
The low-end Boss pedals, even used Boss pedals, are really great. They are the working man's pedal.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at guys like Joe Walsh that's got a pedal board full of Boss pedals.
Right. You think of, when I was kind of up and coming with pedals and playing guitar and trying to get my sound situated. Visual Sound, they were fairly cheap. I mean, talk about a working man's pedal.
Yep.
I mean, you can click on that sucker a bunch of times and it's not going to go out. You know?
Great pedals. But yeah, I don't necessarily think that pedal price matters that much. It doesn't.
It's probably in my psyche more than anything. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, you get to a certain price point and you're like, okay, if it's on my board, I'm not going to be, it sounds bad, but like, are you proud of your pedals or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and are you thinking about the pedal and like, is it going to mess with kind of how you feel about your board and how, you know what I mean? Like,
Do you feel happy to step on it?
right.
Mari Kondo would ask you, does it bring you joy?
I don't know who that is.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it doesn't matter now. I guess the joke's gone.
It ruined it.
But yeah, I think that there's something about putting a pedal on your board that you feel good about. So every time you step on it, you're like, oh, this feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes you look at your board and you're just like, oh, I wish I could get rid of that pedal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like
But it does the job and I can't get rid of it.
It works fine.
Right.
It works fine. And then, the super high-end pedals, I think when you get above $500 for a pedal, I struggle to, like, have it make sense for me a lot of times. There's just so many other pedals that will do the same job or a similar job that I'm going to like just as much. But I'm a simple player, too. Like, a lot of these...
He's a simple guy.
I'm a simple guy. But, like, the CXM and stuff like that, like, they're awesome, but they're kind of cantankerous. They're big. They've got all the sliders so you might get junk into.
Mm-hmm.
To have multiple settings, you got to, like, flip through switches and stuff or have MIDI connected to it. Well, I mean, you could do the same thing out of some of these Boss, like MD500s, DD500s, RV500s, and then Strymon's got Mobius, and they've got the
Right.
Timelines and Big Skies. Those are expensive pedals, too.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the, like, close to $500 range, depending on which ones you're looking at.
Right.
Anywhere between $350 and $500. But I don't necessarily think that any pedals above that, price-wise, is going to do a dramatically different job for me.
It just might. So I know what you're saying, but I also think there's a flexibility with more expensive pedals, like the HX Stomp and stuff like that. Like, it's more user friendly in the moment.
I do feel like the HX Stomp is a completely different subject.
And that's fair. But even think about like Wampler Terraform. Like, it has a bunch of effects in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you can find it out there around $200. But like that versus I don't even know, like TC Electronic, type of shaker pedal or just a delay or something like that. Like, it's just more user friendly. I know that's completely different. But,
I know what you mean.
Something like that. Or like an M5, it's $100.
Yep.
Or you get, something like that Wampler Terraform, $200, but it's more user friendly than that M5. And it's also a little more robust. It's going to last a little longer.
Yeah.
So you just kind of got to work with what you got, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that, people just have to find their own way with it. And what I find expensive now, I would have found probably outrageous when I was younger.
For sure.
And I think what I find
and price
now,
is only getting worse.
Yeah, I think what I find is standard now for a pedal, which is like honestly, the average pedal I'm looking at buying today on the market,
$150.
$150 to $200. A lot of them are $199.
But we're also a lot different than most people.
Well, yeah,
We're able to do that.
yeah,
Let's be honest.
I think a lot of players, if you look at their boards, a lot of their boards is somewhere between $150 to $200, or maybe $100 to $200.
I would say 100 to 200.
The guys that are playing regularly out, the guys that have like a gig that they're doing often.
Right.
So yeah, I think price only matters somewhat, but it kind of doesn't matter.
So I think we're making this a mountain out of a molehill because when it comes down to it, no one out front can hear the difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one out front can hear the difference. It's really just our heads and what we think matter.
How much of it's our eyes,
Right.
right? If we were blindfolded and we were A, B, and pedals, how much of it would matter?
Yep. It's all only us, really.